welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. It is time for today's WIP and Waffle, which is why I work on my current work in progress, WIP, and Waffle or chat, depending on which word you use, to you all while I do so. So I'm working on this painting I kitted up. Video went up on Tuesday. This is a painting that I was gifted by a subscriber, Melissa. So thank you again, Melissa. My little coffee bean gnomes. I have done 2 strips worth of cover paper already. So I have used the rest of my cover paper to sort of cover it up. I did get to do all the way from the top, but my original stretch of cover paper, if I can sort of take these off and show you, I put it 2 lengths that way, and then it basically finished here. So I was like, do I do a full strip or do I take off and do a chunk? And I thought, do you know what, we'll peel up until we sort of get to some of these more different numbers here. And we'll do a bigger chunk of it. I may have to shuffle things about to make sure the camera can zoom in. Try and keep the comments and questions where I can actually read them. So yeah, I'm thinking, I've got my light pad, but I'm thinking that we'll sort of start on this chunk and see how far we get. So let's zoom in, because I might get away with moving this down a bit, which would be kind of nice, because then it'll be on my light pad a little bit easier for me to get hold of. In fact, I think I might have to do a computer switch to get this in the middle. So I'm just reshuffling in the background. Switch the computer to the left hand side, and I can actually pop my diamonds on this little shelf that's complete. No, maybe not. Okay, I'll pop it on top of my Walking in the Rain diamonds. Because what I have been doing with this one, because it is a 30 by 40, I have decided to sort of work on this one in the conservatory a bit more. So I take this one in the conservatory with my easel and my light pad to work on it. And then I have Walking in the Rain up on my drafting table, which allows me to do a bit more of that. So I've had a mixture of days of which one I've decided to work on when I have been able to diamond paint, which is not always as often as I want. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get with him, because I am sort of doing both of them this time. Both Walking in the Rain and this one, because I'm trying to sort of fit into my schedule a little bit, finishing this one and de-kitting it and kitting up my next one sort of within the same week. So I decided to do a little bit of Walking in the Rain as well, and we'll do this on this week's WIP and Waffle. And depending on how the week goes, maybe finish it up on the next one. I'll have to have a look, because I've got my logbook update and stuff coming up for the beginning of April. So I'm not sure whether this will be a March or April finish. We shall see. I'm not fully organised with that at the moment. I do try and make a schedule. I still have a couple of diamond painting kits that need de-kitting, so I will be de-kitting Fox this week, which was from the last 2 that I kitted up. I then also have the Paint Gem Mini Doors set that's in my old type storage that still needs de-kitting. So I need to do that at some point as well. I don't want to keep pushing that one too far. I already pushed it out the way to enable me to do this one. So I keep shoving things over so that I can make it work. I'm actually wondering now if I've gone for too big a section for this video. I know full well I'm not going to be able to get it finished. I know that it's too big a section for me to get finished. But what I'm wondering is if I should have gone more this way than this way. Say I did have it just being this sort of big long strip here. Maybe if I do that instead and turn those the other way. It's still a big section. It's still probably too big for today's, because this is so confetti heavy. It's unreal. It is amazing how much confetti is in this. So maybe let's go for that. And I say, I may still not get it finished, but I feel like I can zoom in a little bit more then. Maybe turn this down as well, because I actually don't really need it a huge amount on this one. What does it look like when I turn it off? Might be a little bit easier for you guys to see when it's turned off. We'll see how we go. I might need to turn it on for some of the darker ones, but definitely these lighter ones, I don't really need the light pad on. Waffling already, and I've not even got to the comments. But I hope everybody is having a great week. I've had a productive week shop-wise, not so much a productive week house-wise. I think I've ignored the washing for a few too many days. So that's probably going to be my catch-up for next week, is to try and pay a little bit more attention to that household task and get myself caught up. I can't wait until I can put washing on the line. That's what I'm waiting for. There's been a few days where it has been sunny enough, but it's been freezing along with it. I remember a few years ago, I think it was the COVID time, we had an absolutely glorious March. We had some amazing weather in the March, able to get washing done and all sorts, and it was really nice. But this year, it's that cold snap just does not seem to want to go away. It is teasing us with nice sunny days, but without the warmth behind it. So we shall see what the future brings. Hopefully some nice warmer weather. I don't want it hot. I don't need it hot. I just would like a spring. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. It's like spring's teasing us this year. It's going, I'm here. Oh, no, maybe not. I'm a little bit here, but not fully here. But yeah, this is a really, really nice painting to do, but it is extremely confetti. The first two sections that I did, I actually did the full strip. I had some really, really decent chunks of time. I was able to do it. And I didn't have to tip diamonds in and out of my tray all the time. However, the amount of times I missed some was unreal. Because as you may be able to tell by the placement so far, they are scattered everywhere. But it's a nice change. The last two that I did were very much blocky. Walking in the rain is actually getting into a blocky stage at the moment because I'm past that halfway mark. Walking into the rain is the painting I do a WIP and Waffle with on a Thursday. And yeah, we're well past the halfway mark. So I have quite a few sections that are very blocky in that one. I did a couple of sections on it last night and had hardly any sort of individual colours that I had to do. There was a lot where I was using a lot of one colour, or a selection of 4 or 5 colours, should I say. So I've actually got a nice change of pace between the two. So the last two that I did that had a lot of blockiness, I had confetti on Walking in the Rain. And for this one, I have confetti, but Walking in the Rain has got to be a little bit more blocky. Not hugely, but definitely there's a bit more blockiness in it. So it's worked out quite well. I'm not sure what painting will be next. I am going to take away the decisions that have already been chosen though on my wheel. So my next one will be a large, because that's all that's left. The question is, will it be a large round or will it be a large square? And the other question will be, am I doing a special diamond painting at the same time or not? Once that one's been done, then I'll probably reset the wheel. And then we'll go through it again. I don't want to leave the wheel with just one choice. I want it to have more than one. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Trying to make sure I know I've got loads more number 4 to do, but I like to do a periodic check back whether I've missed any. And in this case, I've missed loads in sort of this first block. If I actually pay attention to the blue lines, which are 10 by 10 grids on the painting itself, I can actually spot ones that I've missed a lot easier. I just sometimes keep forgetting that they're there, because most paintings don't have them. So I just sort of go with the flow, but then try and do a little quick check back with the blocks. Okay, anyway, let's get to some comments, etc. from last week's mammoth whip and waffle. I'm not sure how long this one's going to be. That's what else I wanted to say. So I am filming this actually on Friday evening because I am out with the girls tomorrow. We are going to see Come From Away in Liverpool. So that should be nice. I have seen it before. I saw it in New York and it was absolutely amazing. Loved it. So it'll be nice for the girls to be able to see that too. And I get to sort of relive it just a little bit from many years ago in New York. And so I thought, if I do my whip and waffle, then it doesn't matter how long we're out tomorrow, or you know how quick I have to be up and at 'em on a Sunday morning to make sure that the whip and waffle is filmed and edited and ready and all the rest of it. So I thought I'll come and chat with you tonight, and then I can breathe easy tomorrow and Sunday, and then I can film the other videos Sunday when I'm ready, rather than watching the little ticking clock. Because I find if I'm watching the ticking clock, I tend to take longer to get going than if I'm not watching it, which may sound weird to some, but that's the way my brain works. Anyway, Kaz, she said, good afternoon, Rebecca. She says she hopes that I'm well, which I am, thank you. She says, happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, last Sunday's whip and waffle was St. Patrick's Day. That was a big baddie of mine, completely forgetting to say happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. It wasn't until I'd finished all my filming that I remembered that it was St. Patrick's Day on the Sunday. So apologies for that, but I hope you all had an amazing day. Kaz says, as she's watching this video, she is having a cup of tea with hubby and de-kitting her mandala paint gem mini set. Ooh, very nice. My Easter one is on its way. I know I did an unboxing on the others, and as my unboxing went up, they released Easter. But mine is on the way to me. I'm waiting for it to get into the hands of Royal Mail. So it may be unboxed very soon. Maybe unboxed this week if it gets here on time. I'm sort of playing it by ear on that one. If it does arrive in time for Friday, then I might do an unboxing on the Easter set before it gets too past Easter. But I did notice they do have a 3 for the price of 2, I think, on Paint Gem at the moment. That is as I'm filming this, so do check on their website directly and see if it's still there, to know whether that offer's still on. There is quite a few that are out of stock, especially the newer ones, but I do know they are constantly restocking, and it can take quite a while for them to be produced as well, so that's one thing to bear in mind. But the mandala set is gorgeous. I get so excited about kitting up a new kit even when I've not finished the ones that I'm doing, even though I'm thoroughly enjoying the ones that I'm doing. So I'm thoroughly enjoying doing this one while also getting excited for whatever my next one will be. I can do both, can't I? Same with Paint Gem. I keep getting excited for what the next 3 will be, because I have 3 kitted up, and I haven't yet finished the 3 that I've got. I know somebody did suggest it. I'm not sure if it's in a WIP and Waffle comment. If it is, I'll be reading it out soon enough, or if it was just on one of my other videos that I've responded to. They did suggest, like, maybe when her story is finished, which is only 4 paintings, actually de-kitting it and kitting up another one and putting that in the mix. And I did like the idea, but it would only work with her story, I think, because with any other, so like when Butterfly or Traditional Foods is due to finish, I am only going to have 1 or 2 paintings of the other set to finish anyway, until they'll all be finished, because they're all around the same quantity, 12 to 16 of them, whereas her story there is only 4, so that was always going to potentially get finished a lot quicker than the others did. But I do like the idea of doing 3. I do like, it's a longer video, but I think, you know, a longer kitting up video every now and then is also enjoyable, especially if you plan on kitting up a big painting that you've got yourself, or maybe you're wanting to listen to something a little bit different while you're diamond painting. So I think I'm going to keep it for now. I always reserve the right to change my mind, but for now I'm going to keep it as I will, when they're finished, I will de-kit all 3 and then kit up another 3. Because I actually find it really exciting having 3 Paint Gem mini sets that could turn up. Because of course I do have some that I may, you know, prefer slightly over some others. And if it was a matter of always doing my favourites, there are other ones that I would pick than maybe some of the ones that I did this last time. But when there's 3, I like the fact that, you know, you end up with a mixture of ones maybe that you like a bit more than others. You know, if you put them in order of favourites, you end up with, of course, one set that is more of a favourite of yours than maybe another one is. And I find it works out quite nice that you end up with that mixture. So I do enjoy kitting up 3 at once. Jess says she loves diamond painting seasonally. She says maybe divide up my stash by the 4 seasons and do 1 season per wheel. She says she does love when I do the nice long catch-up WIP and chats. So do I. I do love it when I'm able to get through all the comments. But some weekends are just so much busier than others. Or there's other things that I want to be able to do, and I need to, you know, get videos done first, especially because I try to give myself at least 1 day off at the weekend, because currently I haven't been taking a day off in the week either. I've got a lot going on for the shop with Advent stuff arriving and new stock arriving, so I'm playing a bit of a juggling game at the moment in the shop. So yeah, I try to give myself 1 day off a week basically. So some days, especially if I have one of the kids about, so that I can get some videos started, or at least a chunk of them done in the week, then it definitely makes it easier for me to be able to do a long one. But I love doing the long ones and catching up. It's one of those, it's wanting a day to just not think about any of it, but it's also loving doing the WIP and waffles and just diamond painting away. Especially when I diamond paint often when I am having a day off. Last weekend I did some Lego and then I diamond painted, so I did a bit of both. I actually got one section of this done last weekend. So in relation to the 4 seasons, I do like that idea. I don't know how I'd break them up though, because apart from my Christmas one, I don't think I have any that are hugely a season. So they might be partly seasonal. You know, I could say, oh, that one looks springish, that one looks summerish. But I think it's only really my Christmas one that I have that is full-on seasonal. I think. I say, others could possibly end up in spring or summer. Maybe not winter, but they're not pictures that I wouldn't not want to do in winter, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking of a couple of my dreamer designs that are trees and all that sort of stuff. But they're not ones that, you know, if I was doing it in December, I'd think, oh, you know, this picture's too warm for this. No, but the Christmas one, I do feel it's not quite the right season for that. But maybe that's because I'm still wishing for this summer, or this spring, sorry. Jess says she is diamond painting a lot today to get back on schedule with her Chuck Pinson. Yesterday she said she had to do some errands, run some errands and do some shopping for travelling. They have in store for them in April. Ooh. Said hubby is on a sabbatical, so they are taking advantage. An 11-night European cruise is booked, and they're so excited. That's amazing. She said it would be the longest break she takes from diamond painting since she started back in 2020. Paint your minis. Sorry, I had a cough. She said she's packing some small ones in her case in case she has a chance. Good, because I think you will have / need some downtimes, even if it's just an hour in an afternoon, or, you know, an hour before dinner or after dinner before you do something in the evening. So, good shout. She says, thanks for another fun WIP and chat. I'm so glad you're taking some with you. Small ones is good, definitely, but I'm glad you're taking some with you. Kaz, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, it's me again. She said she just wants to say that she loves watching my videos when I'm doing big blocks of colour. She says she's even using my step method. Well, I'm sorry today's not big blocks of colour. I did finish off the Fox's big block of colour shortly after doing the long WIP and Waffle, I think it was. I definitely finished Fox. But yeah, I finished Fox before I even kitted this one up. So I must have done. I can't even remember what order I did things in last week. Or maybe maybe I did all the videos. No, I did. I had a pause and I did finish off Fox, and then I decided to carry on with the rest of my videos and got them finished. I'm pretty sure I did anyway. But yeah, I love the step method when doing blocks of colour, even if it just, you know, stops it being boring as well sometimes. Melissa, she says, happy St. Patrick's Day. She said she loves her cover paper order. She says thank you. She's got emojis of clover, then ladybugs, bees and mushrooms. Those red mushrooms have been so popular, and I'm so happy because as soon as I saw that we could put into a cover paper, I'm like, I want that one in the selection. Because we often do test runs of more than what we're actually going to release, and then we pick, you know, the ones that stand out to us that we think people will like the most, along with, you know, ones that also go with it and look nice together as a set to give a nice variety of types of paper to appeal to different individuals, but also look nice if you wanted them all and mix them up. So yeah, the mushrooms has been going down really, really well, which is great because I think they're adorable. She says she's never completed a Timney art, but she has had a couple in her stash for a while, and then she's put in brackets years. Sorry, I'm just taking my cardi off. It's getting warmer in here. She says, looking on Timney, they state they are on Away. She says, I did a Timney art, I think it was a flamingo, quite a while ago. I've done one or two. They also are quite a nice store on AliExpress, but I'm sure I remember hearing that they changed ownership. Who owned them changed, but I haven't been on there for ages to have a look. I do actually need to soon, because I want to get a few different blank canvas types I want to get those ordered for my Heaven and Earth design, because I've been getting through Walking in the Rain. It's still got a good couple of months, I'd say, before it's going to be finished. It might be something that gets finished, you know, around the June Waffle, to then start a new project after the June Waffle. I kind of think if I can make that work, that would be kind of nice, but it's hard to gauge how much I can get away with that until we get a bit closer. So yeah, I do need to go on soon and have a nosy and get some blank canvases ordered and get my diamonds ordered, but I also need to do like either a little tutorial or you know, film my screen while I'm actually ordering as well, so that I can do it as like a full mini series when I finish Walking in the Rain. So if I remember, I will go and have a look at Timney and see what it's saying at the time. She says, you're licking a promise saying. She says she hasn't heard it before and she's from Southwest England. She says, Southwest England girly that's now in Northern Ireland. Well, I was brought up down south. However, both of my parents are northern. So Me remembering the saying from when I did live down south probably won't help matters because my parents are northern anyway. So maybe they brought it down with them. She says, have a great week. She says, we have a short week here because of Paddy Day. So yeah, they got Monday as a bank holiday in Ireland. Obviously in both parts of Ireland, both Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, got Paddy's Day as a bank holiday or the day after. In this case, it depends when it falls during the week, I think. But it's always good. Christina, she said she's impressed that I did all that white on the fox. She said she probably would have cut off a few rows above the fox's head. It was something I could have done. I think that was a painting that I quite easily could have chopped off the top few rows and sort of made the painting more of a square than a rectangle, and it would have focused in, or would have still looked great and saved me a lot of white diamonds. But I did have another one. I think it was a raccoon. If I remember rightly, I'll have to look in my diamond painting books. Not my logbook, because it was pre-logbook time, I think. But I did a raccoon that was also on a white background, and he was also lower down. So it was sort of, you know, the bottom 2/3 of the painting, and above him was all white as well. And I do like the look of it. I do like the look of it completed, and the way it's sort of framed a little bit differently, I suppose, than most diamond paintings are, by the fact that it has a lot of white background above his head. So I decided to just do it, and I did crack out the multi-placer. Whereas when I'd have done raccoon, I wouldn't have been multi-placing at all. So I definitely got away with it with him. Made it go loads quicker. Henny's, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she just wanted to say, you do you, girl. She said it's your channel. It is, but I feel like it's your guys as well. So I do appreciate comments and suggestions when they're put across right. She says, you always have rotten apples in a basket. She said she loves the videos and discussions, and she says keep them coming. Oh, we'll always find something to waffle about, one way or another. We'll figure something out. Cat Lady says, hi Rebecca. She said she had 4 vlogs to watch at 4 p.m. Goodness me, what a schedule. She says, so she decided to watch this after tea rather than split it up. She said she hopes that I get time to enjoy some family time while my daughter's home. She said the term licking a promise was used by her nan when growing up in Wales. My nan used to live in Wales as well, so whether it's come from Wales is a possibility, because she lived in Wales when I was younger. So maybe it's a Welsh thing rather than a UK thing. Yeah, I do always try and squeeze in family time when my daughter's home. She's currently in university in Liverpool, so she's not far away at all. She actually came home last weekend primarily just to work. She'd picked up 2 shifts at work, covering for somebody. So she only came home really to work and get extra money in her pocket and chill on her bed or in her bedroom most of the time. So, yeah, it's... I do get to see her, and I do love it when she's home. She'll be home for Easter soon, and I'm kind of hoping that she's home for a while. But you never know, because, you know, these kids get this thing called a social life, and every now and then she disappears back to Liverpool for a few days to to go and see her mates. So we'll see if she ends up home for a good few weeks. I am looking forward to Easter weekend though. I think I'm gonna try my best to get a nice chunk of time off that weekend. And if I do need to film, just doing it on one day. And then getting the rest of the weekend to myself at the end of the month. I'll probably be bored after a bit, but I do have some house projects that I'd like to get done as well. You may remember, I may have even discussed it months ago about painting the internal doors in our house. I did a couple downstairs, did some painting on the banister. It was probably a frightening number of weeks ago. I've still never got round to actually doing the ones upstairs. So it's a good job they don't look awful upstairs, but I would like to get them done. So maybe I can work on that as well at some point. We'll see. It'll depend on my mood. Depend on what mood takes me. If I'm in the mood to paint, then that's what I'll do. Melissa, she says, sorry, she said she had to comment again. She said, it made me chuckle when you said trolls. She said it made her think of horrible comment writers being like the trolls in the Trolls movie. She says maybe their comment would have been nicer if they'd farted the glitter over it. Maybe. The images you guys put in my head is absolutely ridiculous. Funny though, funny. Hello Queen Crafting. She says her family uses lick and a promise to mean a superficial job with a meaning to do a more in-depth job later. Exactly what it is. A lick and a promise. It's not done well. It's done enough or quickly or enough. See, I always think of it as well. It's like if you say, right, okay, I have to dust or do a job every 5 days is when it needs to be done. You know, and 5 days, and then it has a complete reset, and then you need to do it again in 5 days. A lick and a promise is more doing enough to be able to push that job a couple more days later, if that makes sense. So you're not doing it good enough that it will be another 5 days until it needs doing again, but you're doing it enough that you don't have to do the full job on that 5th day. So in a way, you can sort of lick and a promise and push it back and back and back until it will get to the point where it'll catch up with you. She says, so for a bathroom, she'd wipe the toothpaste off the sink, a mirror and any other obvious spills, tidy up the products on the counter, sweep the floor and empty the garbage so that it looks reasonably presentable. She says, but save a real clean for when she has the energy to do it later. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I love those sort of bathroom wipes, flash wipes and things that you can get. I don't like them for a proper clean, but I like them for a lick and a promise. A bit of a, you know, wipe the toothpaste off the sink type thing, and then quick maybe wipe round the base of the toilet and then get rid. Not the base of the toilet, sorry, the seat and stuff on the toilet and then get rid. It's more of give it a quick hoover than a full-on mop and wet cloth and wipe down and, you know, put the stuff away, tidy up, and yeah, basically just get rid of anything that is full-on eyesore. You're not going to get away with it for ages. Your bathroom floor is going to end up needing mopping. It's going to, you know, you're going to have to clean things a lot better, but you can make it last a few more days. And that's the main thing. She says they're in Canada. She says she suspects that the phrase comes from her English grandmother, who she didn't, fortunately, get to meet, as she did pass away before she was born. But these things do trickle down. That's where they all come from. They all come from our grannies. She says she recently returned to diamond painting after not having done it for a year or more. She says, but she's so glad to see that I'm still at it and making videos. She says she loves listening to me waffle. Oh, thank you. You have loads to catch up on. If you want to hear random chats, I can't tell you what we chatted about. Sometimes I'll be lucky if I can tell you what we've chatted about from the previous week. It's you guys replying to comments that reminds me what we chatted about last week. It's reading your comments that makes me go, oh yeah, I discussed that last week. Which is why you may occasionally find me repeating myself with stuff. But yeah, there's loads and loads of WIP and waffles for you to catch up on, or just jump in where you are. I still try to post at least 5 days a week, 2 of which are WIP and waffles. Though I have quite a few other sort of video ideas that people also want to see done, so I'm trying to throw those in as well. But if you haven't already guessed, my decision wheel keeps picking small paintings for me to do, which has been great for getting through my small stash, but has not been great for me getting through my list of other videos to do, because I keep dekitting kits and getting them back up again. So it'll be kind of nice when my next one is at least going to be a large one. Having said that, oh, wasn't Koala was a large one as well, wasn't it? Oh, that was me just spinning the round wheel. Okay, that wasn't me getting it to pick which large one. But yeah, Koala was supposed to be a large one, and that ended up being small. So we'll see what happens. It'll be in a couple of weeks. This one will keep me busy for a little bit longer. Though I'm tempted to just throw in kitting up my next one before dekitting this one to make it all fit into my schedule. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, there's loads of waffles to catch up on. Paula, she says, happy St. Patrick's Day. She says she's been a subscriber to my channel, she says, for a long time, but she's never commented before. Well, hello and welcome to the comment section. She says she loves watching my videos. She says she doesn't have a big stash, but she is thinking of doing a decision wheel, as it takes her ages to decide what to do next. Unless it's for an event that she's doing. She says she also diamond paints by colour. She doesn't like doing sections and changing out her tray every few minutes. She says she's done a few 60 by 80 paintings this way. Wowzers! That is one way to do it. I've done it on small ones. I've given it a go on small ones and thought, you know what, let's do this one a bit different. Let's do it by colour, and gone through them. But I will say I've not done it for one that big. So that is one mean feat. I'm impressed. I am impressed. Grey Legrand has commented. She says, wow. She says she has a big diamond painting that she rescued from a thrift store. She said it had been started, but not very much. She says once she realised that the cover was super stuck to parts of the canvas that had been partially dotted, she decided to section those out and finish them so that the cover would have better contact with the glue. She says she doesn't know why, but the glue was funky in those areas. Oh. That sounds like a different kind of challenge. All these challenges going on for a change. But yeah, if you're unsure which one to do a decision wheel. Because sometimes just spinning the decision wheel will actually let you be aware of what your brain is probably thinking. And you'll either be excited or disappointed. And if you're disappointed, then either spin it again or do the one that popped into your head when you got disappointed. So sometimes it just helps you to make your own mind up. Anika, hang on, let me just find my next letter. She says, hello Rebecca. She says, on the subject of kitting up, she said that's very personal and differs from person to person. Completely agree. Everybody should be able to, one, do it the way they want, and second, do it when they want. She says herself, she usually kits up right away when she receives a painting, which means she has got so many kitted up. That's a different way of doing it. She says, but she does only do them one at a time. She says she doesn't like having multiple WIPs, not including her Heaven and Earth design. She says, as always, she says, loves the videos and loves the WIP and chats. Love and hugs from Sweden. Oh, thank you. I like the sound of kitting them up as and when you receive them. I would struggle with that, with like where my diamonds are compared to my paintings, but I do have a lot. But as you said, it's what works for each person at each time, like what they prefer. Could be from, you know, the setup they've got at home and what they're able to do, as much as it's, you know, what they prefer to do, what your brain wants you to do with your paintings when they arrive. And same with however many you have in progress as well. So I've had multiple, and I have bigger projects to the side that I sort of don't count. Even though it's an active painting, I don't count it as one as such, because it's like a sideline project. But I don't think I could ever have a painting that I put to the side and didn't work on for months. Anytime I've had a painting that I've put aside for whatever reason, because I did do it with Minions for a while, it has frustrated me no end to have one that's not quite finished tucked away. But that's just the way my brain works with it. Just does not like it at all. I can have more on the go as long as they are getting some attention. That's what they need. I'm actually getting through this section a whole lot quicker than I thought, and it's making me think, should I move on and uncover some more while I'm at it? I have got a couple that I've missed as well, which makes me think might be quite nice to move over with those as well. Yes, I think I'm going to do that. But what I think I'm going to do, because I've got quite a lot of comments as well, because of course I waffled a lot more in the first instance, is I'm going to go and make myself a brew and change my camera so that doesn't give me a headache in a bit. And I'll just see how long I fancy chatting to you all this evening. Right, I've had a brew and it's later in the evening, so goodness help us all. Let me just have a reshuffle, because my cover papers were sort of put down from the top first, so I had a skinny section at the bottom. But let's sort of do a sweep across a little bit more. I don't know how many comments, if I'll get through all comments, but we'll definitely do another few, or another session, should we say. I don't know how long to time a session. It's probably about 45, 50 minutes, maybe. We'll see how tired my legs end up being, or I end up being, or how much rambling ends up going on as I finish reading through some of these comments. So Olivia, she said she heard her mum use a flick and a promise as just going round quickly to make things tidy, but it's not a full clean. She says she does the same in her place when she doesn't have the energy to do a full clean. She said she'd rather spend her time diamond painting. I'm with you on that one. It's amazing how much difference it can make just having a tidy. And by tidy, it's not just, I suppose, or for me, it's not just, you know, clearing or piling up things into neater piles on surfaces. It's the table needs to be clear. All the, you know, all the bits that end up just floating around waiting to be dealt with need to be put away and tidied up, and given the floor a hoover can make an amazing difference, even without getting, you know, to the point of dusting or anything else. It can be amazing. Just a tidy round and a hoover can make a world of difference. Hoover or vacuum, whichever you want to say. Busy Lizzie, she says, you said we can blame you for everything. She said, does that include chocolate and sweets? Yes, go for it. Go for it. You want to blame me because you've decided to have chocolate with your diamond painting? I'm all for it. Go ahead. She says, since when you talk about it, she said she always gets the craving and breaks her diet. Yes, I will take the blame for it. By all means, curse me up a storm. But make sure you enjoy your chocolate and sweets while you're at it. She said she's tried using the decision wheel. She says, but she just thinks and feels which one is right to do next, and she goes with it. She says, so she's the opposite from me, which isn't a bad thing. It is not a bad thing at all. If I can just take some decisions off my plate, then I'll do them. I find that can be the one thing across the board, that can be the one thing that makes me feel more bogged down. Maybe it's, you know, the mental load thing, I don't know. But having decisions made, even if actions don't need to be taken yet, is something that makes me feel like I'm supposedly more ahead than I am, or makes me feel better about things, is knowing that decisions are made. So, for example, if I didn't use the decision wheel, actually taking a bit of time to decide the next 5 or 6 paintings that I'm working on, for example, and what order I'm going to do them in. Taking the time to do that would be so much better for me personally than having to make that decision every time I finish one. Because otherwise I'd then go, I've nearly finished this one, even though I'm only just hitting halfway. I'd be like, I've nearly finished this one. Oh, right, well, there's this one I could do, and there's this one I could do, and I could do that because of that, and I could do that because of that. Whereas if I actually took the time and said, right, I'm going to pick 5, which one means, you know, I'm not trying to choose 1 out of however many I've got. I'm trying to choose 5 out of however many I've got. So that makes it easier. And actually making the decision, say, on the next 5 that I'm going to do and putting them in order would actually cause me less stress than waiting and seeing. So in my mind, letting the decision wheel decide just takes that decision away. So I'm all for it. Because I do it in other things. I'm often preparing quite a bit in advance for, you know, monthly launches. Advent was decided quite a while ago. Things are getting implemented with it all and have been for a while. But the fact that the decisions have been made makes it so much easier for me. Even if there's still a process to go through and things that need to be done for things to be, you know, sorted and ready for sale and all the rest of it. And of course, nearer Christmas. We've been talking about spring's attempting to arrive. But yeah, the fact that the decisions are made makes things so much easier for me. So if a decision wheel can take that off my plate, I'm all for it. I still end up making decisions about what to do with my decision wheel though, so I'm probably not helping myself. She said, Busy Lizzie also said, she tried looking for Birkenstocks, but she can only find the sandals with the buckles. She says, is that what you have? Yes, that is what I have. And yes, I do wear socks with them when it's cold. I don't wear them with socks out the house. In fact, I don't really wear them out the house even when it's summer. They tend to be my in-house shoes, though I have gone out with them in the summer before. And I wouldn't go out the house with my socks and my Birkenstocks on. But yes, I wear socks with them in the house. And they get cropped out of photos when trying to take photos of diamond paintings all the time. So yeah, they are the ones I have. She says also it's close to £100. She said which she'd love to try, but she can buy multiple diamond paintings for that amount instead, which she'd prefer doing. Yes, they aren't the cheapest. They are comfy and last ages, but you'd sort of have to know that you're going to wear them, I'd say, first. So I actually had originally, I had a very cheap pair from a cheaper shop, might have even been Primark, about £10, if that, probably. I bought some, same style as the Birkenstock, so the two big buckle straps. And I wore those and I was wearing them all the time. So I was wearing them every day. It's when I wanted something to be able to wear when Luna was a pup, to be able to go outside with her and come back in with her, all the rest of it. Excuse me. So I'm just going to take my glue dot out and pop it back in because it's having one of those moments. Yeah, and I was wearing them all the time. So on a daily basis, all the time, round the house, found them great. So I then asked for my birthday or Christmas, I can't remember which one it was, for a set of Birkenstocks, because it was like, okay, yes, I'm going to wear them, so I'll now have the nicer ones. Which is what I often do when people ask me what I want for birthdays and Christmas. There's not always something that I have on my list. So I often will think of something that I use regularly. So whether it be on a daily basis, whether it be, you know, on a weekly basis, but something I use often that's looking maybe a little bit more worse for wear, and would like an upgrade, a nice upgrade. So that's what my Birkenstocks were one year. They were a birthday or Christmas present as an upgrade from my cheaper pair that I was wearing all the time, but they were showing that they'd been worn all the time. Whereas these Birkenstocks have been worn all the time and nowhere near showing the wear. Considering I've had them a lot longer than I had my first pair already. Charlotte, she said, thanks for another great WIP and chats. She said she uses the wheel several times. First, she uses it to which company, then to which image from the company that was chosen. She says she also has a wheel with a different company's putty and wax, which she chooses in the same way. Love it. She says she thinks it makes it easier. Oh, I'm with you on that. I really am. At the moment, I seem to be okay with picking what storage I'm using for said painting, for whichever painting it is, which is either decided by the fact it's new, like it was for this one, or initially it's primarily decided by how many colours are in a painting, and then that narrows down my choices, and then I pick, you know, whichever one I've not used recently, or one that goes better with the painting because it's a certain colour, or something like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if it gets to the time soon that I end up with a wheel deciding what I'm gonna do or use. I kind of let the painting itself decide what cover paper, but there may come a point when the cover paper also gets decided by a wheel. You never know. Corinne says she loves her decision wheel. She says she likes to work from her oldest to her newest painting. So she sort of groups a few orders together, she says, depending on when she bought them, and put them on a wheel so it can then choose. So in that way, it's not exactly in the order that she bought them, but it's close. So it's like saying, for example, with my stash, let's put everything that I bought in 2021 on a wheel and let it decide from there, rather than saying, oh, it's the oldest. I like that idea as well, especially if you like to work from oldest to newest, but still like the idea of it being, you know, it could be one of a few different paintings that you've got. It's a nice way to sort of go, okay, these were all bought roughly around the same time. Pop those in the wheel and it can pick one. Gives you the little surprise of which one it's going to be, rather than always knowing what your next painting would be if you did them fully in order. She says then she has a wheel for her not so premium paintings, so more her budget paintings, and she flips between them. So she's one until it's done painter. She said, so if the quality of one is kind of frustrating, then she can reward herself with a premium company when it's finished. I like that idea as well. So I suppose that's very similar to what it is with my smaller and larger paintings. Most, if not all, of my smaller paintings are budget paintings, and then my larger ones are all more premium. The only thing is I've ended up with, of course, 2 or 3 budget on a row, but next I'll be doing a large one. And I may or may not be resetting my decision wheel once I've picked my next large one. I'm not quite sure yet. I guess it depends on how big a painting it picks. If it picks a small painting out of my large stash, so a bit like Koala, if it picks a smaller painting that won't take me as long to do, then I might keep the other large painting one in there and pick one from there next time. Whereas if it picks a big one that's going to take me quite a while to do, then I might be quite happy to reset the wheel by that point and let it pick whether I'm doing a large or a small one again. We shall see. I kind of can't wait to film that video, but I need to finish this painting first and be able to fit it into my schedule to de-kit and kit up another painting, which is why I think it might be a couple of weeks, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If I end up finishing this one, I can always do another paint gem in between because I still have those on the go. Corinne, she says, me again. She says she's been practicing her multi-placing, and she's up to a 9-placer now. Go you. I've definitely not been practicing that much. I'm still on a 4. She says it's great. She says she's on her 10th painting of the year. She said, but she is disabled, so she does have more time to diamond paint than most. She said, thanks for the videos. It's great to be part of the community. Well, thank you for being here. 10 paintings completed is amazing. I don't think put that all down to your multi-placer. But yeah, multi-placing. I've always in previous videos you'd have heard me take the stance that I felt like I was cheating using a multi-placer. And that's just a personal feeling that it felt a bit like cheating rather than single placing. But I have embraced it more in the last year or so. And I think there's some instances where I enjoy it. I sort of treat it a bit like a game in some instances as well. And doing the likes of that fox painting, it was amazing being able to multi-place that, because the exciting part for me was the fox, which I did single placing. But yeah, say it's not cheating. It just made me feel like I was cheating. Just to clarify, it's a personal opinion and it's not about anybody else. It's definitely a feeling that I had about myself, but I am getting to the point now where I will, you know, use that multi-placer sometimes a little bit more than I definitely would have done in the past. And there are times that it's been a great benefit. But I'm also very much like with this painting, I just don't even bother thinking about the multi-placer for this painting, because while there are a few instances, there's a row of 3 there, for example, and there's a row of 3 there, there are not many instances at all where you can get away with multi-placing on this painting, because it is so confetti heavy. And you had seen, does anybody else do that, where they see the symbol, they know they've seen a symbol that they're currently working on, but can they find it again? Can they? I've just had that with that one over there. I knew I'd caught one in the corner of my eye, but trying to find it again took me ages. I've had it on Walking in the Rain as well, when I've spotted one that I've missed while I've been doing others. So I've spotted one I've missed and I've gone to fill it in, because I like to correct those mistakes so I can stop beating myself up about them. And I couldn't find the flipping thing again. It's taken me ages to find it, and it's like, oh, well, that's the reason I missed it. But yeah, just did that with that symbol. Christine. She says, hi, Rebecca. She says she's posting this comment. She says, not to get sympathy, but to emphasise, she says, just how wonderful your videos, especially your WIP and waffles, can have such beneficial effects. She said last year she was trying to finish a custom painting before Christmas. She said, but she did have a few episodes of sickness, so it just didn't happen. Then at the beginning of January, she was hospitalised and she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Ooh, not a fun start to the year. She said she had 15 sessions of radiation therapy over 3 weeks. And then in February, she was struck down with terrible pain in her lower back. And it proved to be some very large kidney stones, which could only be fixed with either open surgery or laser surgery. Goodness me, Christine. You've had it all. She says she's been wanting to paint, but then she's also been uninspired too, which I get completely. She says she guessed all the appointments that she's had hasn't helped. The appointments, the thinking, the wondering, they're just life. Life has just got on top of you. She says she hasn't been able to sit down for an extended amount of time, so she's tried some smaller off the canvas paintings to see if that would inspire her. Although she's finished them, she said her itch still wasn't satisfied. She said then recently, my videos, she said especially your decision wheels, she said sparked something in me. She said she still can't sit for too long, but she feels somewhat satisfied with what she has accomplished. She says she hopes soon that she'll be able to post her completed work, and she wanted to thank me for her very special work and how therapeutic it is. Oh, thank you so much, Christine. Yeah, I'm so sorry for how you're feeling, because it is, I can't even imagine, to be fair. I would be guessing, but I know things like that can be just so taxing, mentally, physically, the whole lot. So I'm really happy that you found a way to get some done and feel like you're getting a sense of achievement, because you need that. You need that along with, you know, the treatments and the appointments and everything else. You also need something that makes you feel like you a little bit more. So I'm wishing you all the best. I'm here for you, even if you just want to sit and watch me diamond paint huge confetti stuff and ramble on about everything and nothing, so that you can switch off from it all for a bit. Then we're all here for you, and we're all rooting for you as well. Melanie, she says, do you think that this fox would have been nicer as a partial instead of having all that white background? They're finding that partials are getting hard to find. The fox probably would have been a really nice partial, actually. I haven't seen partials for quite a while, unless they're the special diamond paintings, which tend to have the rhinestones over just the normal diamonds. So yeah, finding actual partial diamond paintings does seem to be a little bit harder to find. Some of the paint gems I class as a partial, just because they're a different shape than a square, should we say, or a rectangle. But finding them in bigger ones, they are, I haven't seen like loads of them floating about like they used to be. But yeah, I think the fox would have been a good partial one, just because I did like the depth of the white, though of course it's a lot of diamonds to place. Even if I did cheat with my multi-placer. Cheated in my own head, which I'm getting to the point of not feeling like it's cheating quite as much. Tiffany, she said she's on a no-buy, with a couple of exceptions. Her main one is if it's a Becca Tyndall canvas. That's something good to do, especially if you're not on a full. So if you're on a no-buy because budget just will not allow, then there's not much that can be done for that, apart from, enjoying the stash that you've got, making what you have got, more fun or last longer, that sort of thing. But if you have decided to put yourself on a no-buy, it is nice to have exceptions to that rule. Like, if it's a certain artist, then I can buy it. Because then, that doesn't, I suppose, make you, it limits you to what you're buying. It shrinks your amount of places you can shop, should we say, without, saying you're not having anything. Which is what I buck against, which is why I will still I won't tell myself I'm not buying anything, but I am trying to be very restrictive with what I do buy. Kim, she says, how do you keep your hand from sticking to the glue while doing a whole painting? She says she has no clue. She says she always has to keep a square of cover paper handy to protect the glue from her fat little hand. You will actually, I don't know if you see it or if you notice it in videos, but it's my pinky. It's always my pinky. So when I am going over a section, I mean, I get to know that this, I can lean my full hand on it because I have done that bigger section. But when I can't, I'll often be using just the tip of my finger to either lean on the bottom part and try and keep the rest of my hand off, depending on where I'm placing. So I'll try and rest this on where I can feel the diamonds are. But if it's like a big area and I was over here, then I will let my nail or the tip of my pinky touch the painting. So I am still pulling that up, but I'm not putting the whole of my hand down. So I am forever sort of just the way I hold my pen and go to use my pen. I stick my pinky out more, basically. I'm probably explaining it too much. But yeah, stick your pinky out. Use your pinky. She says also, you may not have zoomed in. She said, but she did anyway on her iPad. She says, for some reason, she has to see what symbol I'm working on. Love it. Hang on, I'll read out the rest. Let me just grab my next symbol. She says, although you probably don't hear me when I say you'll be back to that soon, Rebecca, and may be irritated with yourself when you see it. She says, see, excuse me, she says, your videos are fun all the time. She says, even if you fumble with your tray. She says, don't you dare start editing your videos. Yeah, I don't cut bits out of my videos. I mean, you guys would probably, well, you'd notice anyway, because all of a sudden there'd be a chunk of diamonds placed. But no, I think the mistakes that we all make when diamond painting should be shared with all. Plus, I don't have the time to do a load of fancy editing and all that sort of stuff. I'm chatting with friends, and you know what? If I make mistakes, I make mistakes. I just tell myself that somebody will learn and not make the same mistake I do, and it makes me feel better. Makes me feel like it's a good thing that it happened, and I leave it at that. Kim also said, she says, just a thought. This is the comment I mentioned earlier, because I do read comments when they come through on email. I sort of have a quick read through them. They don't all come through on email. I think if there's quite a few comments left within a short period of time, YouTube only sends me a few of them. But I sort of skim read, especially if it's a WIP and Waffle comment, because I know I'll be reading it out in full. But my brain obviously takes in some of the information anyway, and then it takes in fully when I'm going through and reading comments that are on other videos. I've just spotted a heart I've missed as well out the corner of my eye. Anyway, so she says, just a thought, what if you completely finish one of the 3 Paint Gem mini kits like the Her Story that only has 4? She said then you should de-kit that one set and kit up another to go in the drawer system. She said you could even do the de-kit and kit up in one video. She says then you wouldn't have to kit up 3 at once again, and it might space it out to an enjoyable time frame for you, but still be able to do the 4 drawer unit. So I do like the idea of de-kitting and kitting up in one video. That makes it appeal to me more, and that didn't sink in when I read the comment on email. I do like the idea, say, I don't want to make, I don't know, I suppose I don't want the de-kitting and kitting up of my paint gems to be too many videos, because I have got loads of ideas for videos and the responses from you guys over my foam board, and whether I should do videos on what I want to use my foam board for. Has made me think of sort of those videos that I can do, but then potentially try and schedule in some others, you know, that are projects that I'd like to do, maybe even craft room projects that I'd like to do, and maybe try and get some of those in as videos at times, which, you know, will not only make a nice different type of video, but it'll also make me do it because it's on my schedule for a video. It becomes a to-do item, not an I'd like to do item. So yeah, by being able to combine more paint gem kitting ups and kitting downs helps me to be able to achieve that, especially when I get to the point that I'm working on one large painting and not all the small ones that I end up finishing quite quickly. What's I saying? So yeah, I do like the idea of potentially de-kitting and kitting up. The only reason I'm not going to do it at the moment, or for this one, is because her story, I know, because even though I have turned my canvases upside down in the drawer, you can still slightly see through them. Her story is actually the next painting that I'm due to do on my Paint Gem Minis, and it will be my last one of them. So I will have done all 4, which means it's due for de-kitting. At the moment, as I'm filming this, I already have Fox ready to be de-kitted and doors ready to be de-kitted. And I have this one, which is not that far behind, considering that doing this section here is my 3rd time working on this painting, and it's halfway through. So I could quite easily finish this painting in this next week. I'm actually working on walking in the rain some evenings to stop me finishing this quick. Purely because I've got other paintings to de-kit. And you guys know I prefer to fully de-kit before kitting up another one. The only reason I made an exception last week was because I had 2 paintings kitted up. So, and one was round and one was square. Otherwise I would have de-kitted them together. But because there were 2 separate styles of painting, I split them up. So yeah, the fact that I've already got so many to de-kit, to then add in a de-kitting and a kitting up of her story as well is a no. Because it'd just be too many de-kitting videos all at once. Because I'm already having to spread them out once a week. But actually doing it together, a video of it together, is something that I'm happy to keep in the back of my mind if there is a time that it suits. So if I am at a time where maybe I've kitted up 3 Paint Gem Minis or 3 sets of Paint Gem Minis, and I'm working, you know, I've kitted up a big painting and it's taken me a few months to get completed, and therefore I've actually had no de-kittings for quite a while, and I finish a Paint Gem set, then maybe I will do a video of, you know, the de-kitting and kitting up, just because it'll have been a while. because there are sometimes I do find that I don't have a kitting up or a dekitting video for ages. And then there's other times, like at the moment, and especially from the dekitting backlog that I had over December, I feel like that's all I do. That's all I've been doing is making sure that my dekittings and kittings up are spread out. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it with her story because she is going to be finished soon. Maybe even later on this evening, because I'm doing this WIP and Waffle later. Though having said that, it is about 8:30 now. I'd either finish off this section or decide to do a paint gem, or potentially both, because it is a Friday night, so I could stay up a bit later. I feel like Friday night's a stay up late kind of night. So yeah, she may get done that quick, and I've already got 2 coming up to 3 to dekit. So yeah, I don't think I'll do it with this one, but I will bear it in mind for a future one if it works out the same sort of way, that I end up finishing one with quite a few left of the other ones. Otherwise, it is a longer video to do. The kitting up of 3 at once, and of course the dekitting of 3 at once, but it's kind of different, and I don't mind long kitting up videos, long dekitting videos, or even long WIP and waffles spread out every now and then. I just can't do them every week, so we'll see how it goes. Eliza says it's a fine rendering and colour blocking. It was a nice rendering, that fox. It was very confetti in places, but it looks good and it looks like a fox, so that's always a good outcome. Blossom Chops, she says, to be honest, Rebecca, she says there's a very simple answer. She says regarding if someone doesn't like your content / discussion, she says they can just switch off or go and watch something else. She says there is absolutely no reason to be nasty or turn into a keyboard warrior. I agree. And there was one person that was like that, and there was quite a few people that did reply. It wasn't to a WIP and Waffle video. It was never read out as a comment, but they definitely had a bee in their bonnet that day. They've not come back loads since, so hopefully they've just stopped using a keyboard. Jerry says she completely agrees. She says she has no problem with people having their opinions. She says, but you can be nice about voicing your opinion. There is a saying, agree to disagree. If you can't agree to disagree nicely, then honestly, I don't want to hear you. So true. Oh, there should be more of the rest of us in this world, should there not? Lady Dax, she says, here in the East End of London, she would say a cat's lick and a promise. Which, when she was a child, meant having a quick wash at the kitchen sink during the week, with the old tin bath being filled on a Sunday in front of an open fire for all of our baths. She said it was a pure luxury. She said when we finally moved when they were 11 and had a proper bathroom for the first time. It's amazing how many of the things that we have, like an inside loo and a bathroom, how you can just get used to them and forget that that was not always the way. I know my dad always used to say, we used to have to go outside to the loo. And he remembers when they got an inside toilet instead of an outside one. It was definitely a different time. She says one of her dad's old sayings was a spit and a polish. She said, yes, it had something to do with his army days. Spit and a polish. Yes. Spit wash. My kids used to get every now and then when they were younger and had something to eat while we were out. And of course, did not look like they were brought up, looked like they were dragged up instead. So a quick spit and a polish would make them look a little bit less abandoned. Apart from their clothes, of course, because they'd always end up getting something on their clothes. But at least if their face looked clean, it made things better. Right, I just had to do that plus symbol. It was staring at me as needing to be done. Just one of those that was jumping out at me. It's like this letter N is jumping out at me now, because it seems to be the confetti part of this middle bit here. I feel like I need it. Right, let me do that in. Lady Dax also says, she said she loves using her decision wheel and hearing of the different ways that others use it. Yeah, it's always nice to hear of the different ways, because like I like the one from earlier about her doing oldest to newest, but like in time blocks, because that also makes me think that, you know, if I do find after doing however many decision wheel spins that I'm not getting to, say, a certain company or a certain style of diamond painting. I mean, I've been quite lucky with my small ones. I've had big ones, I've had a confetti one. But I know if I do get to a time where I've done quite a few paintings and I've not had a certain type of variety in with that, then I like the idea of just making a decision wheel that just meets that need. So whether it be, you know, the next 3-4 paintings I do are all confetti, and I go, oh, do you know, I need something that's not as confetti heavy. Actually picking a few different paintings from my stash that are more blocky and going, right, I'm doing a blocky one. Which one am I doing? I like that idea. So it's a bit different, but it's nice hearing what people do to sort of trigger different types of wheels that you can potentially do, or different, yeah, we just kind of make it fun, haven't we? Gotta make it a game. She says she pities anyone that leaves a rude message on here, she says, with Rebecca's Zesties, which is Kim's name for us all. I like it. You're all my Zesties. She says, looking out for you. She says, love and respect, Rebecca, for all you do for us. Oh, thank you. I like that name, Rebecca Zesties. But yes, there was at least one comment left on that rude comment. There may have been more, actually. I do need to go and look. Once I have replied to a comment, which in this instance I did, once I've replied to a comment, it doesn't then show me anybody else's replies unless they've replied directly to me. So if they've replied to the person that left the comment, I might not see it. So, right, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I pick some colours as well. I'm also trying to pick, so I've just got there, that next one up is actually the letter C. I did that one before, over here, before I uncovered more. So this may sound daft, but I'm actually trying to do the colours that I haven't done already, just to keep it a little bit more varied for me, and do some of the ones I haven't done before and fill in some of these darker parts. And then, plus I also know that these lighter ones, like that letter C and the letter J and the 8, are part of the background. So there will be more of them over here. So I'm trying to do some of these that catch the gnome's hat and stuff, so that when I have finished this WIP and Waffle, when I do end up pulling out some of these colours, I can potentially just do a diamond painting session and go further. Grey Legrand, she says, wonderful whip and waffle. She said it's too funny. She says the commenter that didn't like the decision wheel discussion has triggered a landslide of discussions on the decision wheel. Yes, that didn't go missed. She says, by the way, she says she knows that her olive green tray is in her mailbox, so she has happy post when she gets back after work, and then she can have 12 trays scattered across her diamond painting. Have a great day. Awesome. Awesome news. Oh. No, I thought I had another letter D. I don't. I have just spotted a 9 that I missed though. This painting is the worst for me missing different ones. It is the absolute worst for it because it's so much confetti, and it's even worse when I pull off my bigger sections. Okay, Grey Legrand, she says, hey Rebecca, she says, here I am again. She said, but to stir up topics, she said Lego. Lego has been a very big topic in the group recently. I absolutely adore Lego. Diamond painting is a well cheap hobby compared to Lego. So if anybody ever moans about your spending habits when it comes to diamond painting, just warn them that you could be addicted to Lego. So she said her boyfriend got her a set of Legos for Valentine's Day. She said the succulent set. She says, can we say instant addiction? I'm so not surprised. She says she's finished her set and she's deconstructed it as well, all bagged up and organised. She said she went to the Lego store yesterday, but she only got a small kit for her mum and a keychain for her sister. She did go to Target today because the price was cheaper, and she's bought 2 more sets, flower bouquet and tiny plants. She says, can we talk about the dollars? It is not cheap. I did get spoilt with Lego at Christmas, and there are a few sets that I've had for quite a while, but I love the big sets. I have to keep talking myself out of Titanic. Hubby keeps trying to talk me into Titanic, but it is in no way a cheap set. But I have tried to spread out the build. So I definitely try and spread out my big builds. I've recently finished the globe, the world's globe one. I was allowing myself 1 bag a day. So the most recent sets have more numbered bags. So I've actually done a few of the modular buildings. An assembly square had 6 numbers. So like bag that's numbered number 1 could have 5 different bags, and you'd end up building quite a lot of it before you got to use all the pieces. There's another one I've missed. But the more recent sets, they do tend to have like 1 bag of big pieces with a small bag, but only 1 bag per one. So some of them can have 20 odd, 30 odd different bags. And the globe was like that. So what I've done, or what I try to do when I've been building recently, is no more than 1 bag a day. So I get to enjoy a bit of the build, but it doesn't get done really, really quickly, basically, and cost even more because it's been finished so quick. But hubby did go out with my daughter last weekend. when I managed to get all my videos done earlier and give myself the weekend off, he went out with Caris, something to do with a car, and they stopped by Smith's on the way past, and he did come home with 2 sets for me. The bonsai tree, which you can also do with cherry blossom or as a green one, and I think it's the succulent set. It's definitely the little pots flower set. So I did do the bonsai tree last weekend. I haven't opened the succulent set yet though, because I think if I've got some Lego to do, then I won't give in to the Titanic, or Rivendell is the other one I want. Never watched Lord of the Rings, not interested in Lord of the Rings at all. But the Rivendell set, which would be the most expensive set I'd ever got. None of my other sets, even my, you know, real big treat ones, have never been as expensive as Rivendell or the Titanic. They're like ridiculous, highest priced sets. I only want it for the build. I'm not interested in Lord of the Rings, but the amount of people that say that it is the most enjoyable build that they've done in a long time so makes me want it. But yeah, it is ridiculous. Like, it's not expensive considering, you know, the quality and stuff, but we don't play with it like we do as kids. So yeah, it's very expensive ornaments. And you can get light sets for them now as well, which aren't necessarily the cheapest, but we do have a few with light sets in. So a few of hubby's Star Wars ones have light sets, and my Natural History Museum has a light set. I do have a light set. Oh, there goes a dropping tray. Luckily, I dropped it that way, so all that it did was tipped all my diamonds in the end, and I just dropped one. And I'm done with that colour, so it's all good. Yeah, we do have a light set for my train as well. They're just really, really fiddly, so I've not done that one yet. But yeah, it is another expensive hobby, so I can't help you with that one either, really, because I am awful, and I do go through phases, especially when I have time at the weekend, when I have time, you know, where we're not going out somewhere, or there's not something that needs doing urgently around the house, because it's easier to put off if it's not urgent. That is when I very much want my Lego and want to be able to do my Lego. So yeah, it is addictive, but it is expensive. So it's definitely a very big birthday list. Though, having said that, the little camera, the camera that they've done, I think it was, it's still like not cheap. It's like 20 something pounds, I think, or was it 17.99? Anyway, I thought it was extremely reasonably priced for what it was, and that's a nice fun little build. I've got that one as well. But yeah, my favourites are the buildings. I just love the little things within them, even if it's just little toilets and little chairs, and I just love all those little bits. They're just not the cheapest, so they tend to be very much spread out and built up over the years. And around Christmas time, yeah, me and the kids, well, I definitely, the kids probably forced by me to do Lego on Boxing Day, day after Christmas. I love a Lego day after Christmas. It's just, it's the best. Okay, I am gonna leave it there. I do have a few comments left on the video, but I am gonna take them into next week's because yeah, I can feel that I need to go and have a drink. A coffee. I'm not a big drinker unless I'm not even a big drinker when it's a party. But if it's a party, I'll have a drink or two. But yeah, I need to go and get some more caffeine and switch off for the day. So I am leaving that with symbols that I do know will carry on over to here. So it will carry over to the next part. And then, oh, in fact, my battery's just started flashing, so that's an ideal time. So yeah, I've left those parts knowing that they'll move over to here. But I don't think I'll be doing a huge amount this evening. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift up those and tuck these underneath. And then if I grab another one out of here, because then it gives it a nice solid place to stick, they will now all stick on there, even though I've got a load of diamonds underneath. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining me for this one. I will probably be up here somewhere next week, I reckon. I'll have to see in my schedule how soon I can fit kitting up my next one. But I reckon next week's WIP and Waffle will probably be finishing this one off. So I'll try and leave a good couple of sections left so that we can catch up on any comments and finish up. But thank you all so much for being here, and I'll speak to you all again soon.